Hey, what's going on? This is Sam from the Backlog Brothers, and we are here continuing our look at the Founders Legendary weapons that come in the Limited or Ultimate Edition Founders packs. And today we're going to be looking at the Founders Drumroll, the assault weapon light machine gun. So first, let's actually take a look at the Epic version, just so I have something to compare it to. So here we're looking at the Founders Drumroll versus the Founders Raptor, which is one of the special Founders weapons, but there are still just regular Raptors. I think the only difference between the Founders and the regular one is the crafting components, so it's a pretty valid comparison. And then looking at the Drumroll on the left, the only things that'll be increasing when you look at the Legendary are the damage, the durability, and the impact. So we have a pretty clear look side to side on these. So the first thing is that the Drumroll is a light machine gun. So this is going to be a very rapid fire weapon, lower damage and lower impact. And it's fully automatic. So its main focus is going to be short bursting. If you're holding down the trigger, your recoil is going to take over and you're going to start missing shots very quickly. We compare this to the Raptor, which is a semi-automatic weapon. So this is going to be rewarding high precision, slow shots, but can still be rapid fired pretty quickly in a pinch. Wow, I just read exactly the description on accident. Okay, I didn't mean to do that. So just looking at these, we see that the Raptor has a higher damage, hit chance, and critical damage. So these are all things that are going to be rewarding the Raptor for the higher single shot damage. So not only are we getting better per hit, but per crit. So the single bullet is going to be doing a lot more damage on the Raptor. But if we look at the next stats, its fire rate and its magazine size are much lower than the Drumroll. So if we combine all of these stats and we look at the DPS, the Drumroll does have significantly higher DPS, but it is going to be tearing through your ammo much quicker, which is something that you definitely have to keep in mind. If we go down to the range and durability, those are both the same, and the reload time is more on the Drumroll. And when we look at the gameplay, when we're done here, we notice that the Drumroll reload time is pretty noticeable. When I'm playing the Outlander, I actually phase shift a couple times thinking that I'm done reloading, but then have to reload again because I cut it off beforehand. So then if we look at the perks for the Raptor, we have minus 20% recoil, which is definitely worthwhile for, this assault rapid fire weapon, and then plus 30% reload speed, which is definitely really helpful for this long reload time that we have. So we can take it down to almost 2 seconds. I think the math is out to 2.1 seconds if I can do math in my head. So that does, cut down the speed dramatically for how long it takes to reload. At level 15, we have the effect of changing the damage type, along with getting bonus damage. And then lastly, at level 20, we get plus 20% damage, which is pretty straightforward. So that's just a quick comparison to another type of weapon. Let's look at the actual stats for the Drumroll itself. So when we look here for the Legendary version, we're actually increasing the DPS pretty quickly as well. So we're jumping from 615 to 695 just by going up to the Legendary version without even leveling this guy up. So we get an additional perk at level 25, which is the magazine size. So that will go from 50 to 65, I think, if I do math correctly. So we do get a noticeable increase there in the magazine size, which is helpful because we're going to be tearing through the ammo that we use on this gun pretty quickly. So some closing thoughts before we look into the gameplay. After using this weapon, it's something that doesn't quite have sniper range. It is an automatic gun. We have 4,000, which is still very workable. We still kind of have an over-the-shoulder aim and not a sniper scope. But it doesn't feel as good as I necessarily want it to, just because of the rapid fire aspect of it. You're going to be shooting a lot more to try and get the same amount of damage as other weapons, and obviously because of that, you're going to be tearing through a lot more ammo very quickly. I think I would prefer a lower speed, higher damage gun like the Raptor or something like it, whether it's a semi-automatic or a burst gun. But at the end of the day, the Founders Drumroll definitely gets the job done. And if you get the limited or ultimate edition packs, it's definitely going to be a very powerful weapon for you until you start expanding out your legendary roster. One last thing that I do want to note that I touched on, but comparing to some of the other weapons that I talked about for the Founders packs, the Drumroll Legendary actually only has the water type, whereas the Deconstructor and I think even the Nocturno both had the energy type, which made them effective against all types, whereas the Drumroll's only effective against fire and weak against nature. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the gameplay so you can see how the Drumroll feels. Okay, so we're here to check out the Founders Drumroll in-game. So this is a Lars's Man mission at a 19 power level. Unfortunately, the Drumroll is only at level 1, so it's going to be a little underpowered, I expect, for this mission. But let's go ahead and see how quickly we can take these guys out. Notice that this is the zoom pattern. It has a fancy scope and the laser sight, but they're just for effect. All right, let's actually get in here and try and mess with these guys. All right, has a big ammo pool. Oh, I didn't know that you could get stopped like that. So we definitely tear through husks pretty quickly with the Drumroll, even though we're definitely not doing as much damage per hit as I would like to with this level 1 weapon in the mission. We still, have plenty of ammo and a huge ammo capacity, so we can tear through waves pretty quickly. I believe with that last wave, I only had to reload, once or twice.